In the first film we saw how 666 decoded as graphene, and here in this one I will show you the rest of Revelation 13, how it's a connection to Trump and Musk and again to graphene. And remember, we found a lot of things in looking into numbers in these chapters, how the carbon atom equates to 666 for example, and we know that the mark of the beast is also the number 600, 60 and 6. 6 is the carbon atom and how it organizes in hexagons, and 60 was the number of atoms for the buckyballs, C60 fullerenes, and 600 for this carbon double layer nanoplates, 600 atoms of carbons. So Elon Musk, with his Neuralink interface, he want to connect man with machine. What interfaces is really graphene. It is what connects the man to the machine, or rather graphene oxide. Graphene oxide is what is in this so-called hydrogel, and this is used to connect man with his implant interfaces, but it can also be with injectable nanotechnology. Now let's go to Trump. So Trump, he was the father of the vaccine, of the corona shots, is what he claims, and he was the one who was starting this Operation Warp Speed, right, to make this happen. Whoops, there's the hexagon again. Yeah. So how does this logo look? 4 stars, 5 stars, and another 4 stars. So how many stars on the Operation Warp Speed logo? 13 stars. And what's the chapter number again we're reading here? Chapter 13. So there's many details in my movie about zombies, revelation, facts, and dreams that you can check out if you want to learn more about graphene and nanotech. You will find it on BitChute only. And I like strikes only when I do bowling, if you catch my drift, so I'm gonna caution myself what I say. But Karen Kingston, she is a researcher, whistleblower from Pfizer, who talk a lot about graphene. Researchers from La Quinta Columna, Dr. Ricardo Delgado Martin, and many others, they found graphene in people. So, excuse my word salad, hope you enjoy it. People were stung with bees while they were playing a game of Quran, if you catch my drift. So, 60 is the Buckminster Fullerene, the buckyballs. What can you do with that? What can you do with these carbon nanoplates? I'm going to show you. First, buckyballs could deliver multi-drug therapies to tumors, cancer drugs, been known for a very long time. Buckyballs become bucky bombs when aimed at cancer cells. So this is nanotech, these small balls, very small. They can penetrate into the cell, through the cellular wall, and they just kind of drop in there and they can deliver their payload to kill the cancer cell. Or you can kill any cell you want, of course, with the same technology. So there's a lot of studies where show these graphene-based platforms for cancer therapeutics, right? Functionalized graphene platforms for anti-cancer drug delivery. So you can also use these platforms. Two-dimensional nanomaterials are emerging as promising candidates for a wide range of biomedical applications such as gene and drug delivery. So what did Trump do in his first day of job? He introduced the 500 billion project Stargate AI. And what did we hear about it? Larry Ellison said they're going to make these cancer vaccines, very similar to these mRNA vaccines. And which is one of the most important companies in this Stargate AI initiative? OpenAI. And oh, that's a cute another hexagon in the middle of the logo there. And it looks like 6 sixes surrounding that hexagon. Oh gee, I can't wait to get that cancer vaccine. Lord of mercy. Thank you, Darth Vader, for the acting where he flew in warp speed in the first film, but now he's back again and he's trying to fly in warp speed again. The Empire strikes back with his double-layer hexagonal attack vessels, if you catch my drift. Let's take a look at Donald Trump's Trump Tower. And this huge tower has at the bottom of it a section with this kind of steps, this ziggurat like they had in the ancient world, which is how they built the Tower of Babel. And it has 6 niches on the left side. It's an upside down triangle, 6 niches on the right side and 6 on the top side, 666. And these 6 niches you see here, they appear in black, and then you have 7 tops. 6 plus 7 is 13. And I'm going to show you that he's in Revelation 13. On the 66th floor penthouse, what do we have? There we have a shrine and ceiling paintings of Apollo. That is the angel of the bottomless pits. Okay, so let's look at Revelation 13:3 here. We read in the scriptures, one of the heads of the beast seemed to have had a fatal wound, but the fatal wound had been healed. The whole world was filled with wonder and followed the beast. Okay, I'm going to make a short commercial break here. One of my sponsors, they're advertising for screaming fake blood, theater blood for Halloween and other things. Very realistic. Okay, back to the film. We find in the scriptures a comparison here. Let's look at all translations here. Seem to have a fatal wound, seem to be wounded, seem to have a mortal wound, appear to have been mortally wounded. You know, there's many translations here. As if it had been mortally wounded, as if it had been fatally wounded. That's what we get from most of the translations. Seemed to have a fatal wound, appear to be fatally wounded, appear to be fatally wounded, seemed to be fatally wounded, looked like it had a fatal wound, seemed to have been fatally wounded, looked like it sustained a mortal wound, appeared to have been mortally wounded, and so on. So it's not a real, it's something that's... So anyhow, you may perceive yourself to have watched the assassination attempt on TV from Butler, Pennsylvania. I didn't do that. I watched a theater performance. So anyhow, remember that Trump, he grabbed his ear and then he threw himself to the ground. And remember also that there was, you know, of course, this sniper on the roof that shot this alleged gunman, right? Let's look at the cellular phone clip from...
And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Down. Okay? 3 shots came from this gun. No bullets went into that direction. Let's play it again.
And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
That's 1. You see the gun move? That's 1 bullet. There's 2. And 3. You saw the gun move 3 times. And Trump is down. So the sound of the bullets came from this sniper.
But people were shot, you may say. Yeah, except for this gunman, there was a couple of people shot in the audience, 1 died. But you absolutely not believe that there was a second shooter on the water tower, because this has been debunked by professional corporate journalists. Nod. Okay, so case closed. Maybe it's time to wake up here. Let me read this old Shakespeare poem. I saw theatre where the audience were slain, where a champion raised up again. He became victorious along with his friend. And this is the tale of the end. Maybe it's not Shakespeare. Anyhow, this is the same day that Elon Musk endorses Trump. So this is a pivotal moment. The media starts to swing in favor of Trump. We see that he's invincible, you know, and he gets a lot of power. And shortly after, they both return to Butler and to celebrate Trump, you know. And Elon Musk announces himself there as the Dark MAGA. So this is the pivotal moment. One of the heads of the beast that took a blow, I think we know who it is, right? But let's look at the other guy. And I beheld another beast coming out of the earth. So what about this guy? He exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and he caused the earth and them which were therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. So Trump awards him with running the Department of Government Efficiency. Literally all the power of the Trump administration can come under influence of him. And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him. And he caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And it was really healed. Yes, less than 2 weeks later. Looked pretty good. Great. Next verse says, he doeth great wonders so that he maketh the fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. Make fire come down?
You can see how fast this vehicle is moving on the left-hand screen. Landing burn, 13 ignited. We're now down to 3 Raptor engines. We can see those.
So let's go back to the first verse then about him. He had 2 horns like a lamb. So this is my interpretation here. But let's just first look at the word, it says a little lamb. All the sources says a little lamb. Not just a lamb, it actually says a little lamb, or a lambkin. That's what we get from looking at the Greek. So a lambkin is below 3 months old, and lambkins don't have horns yet. So I interpreted that this horns are symbolic. We don't expect him to have horns, but they will grow out some months later. So growing horns are symbolic of becoming evil, I say. Horns will grow out over time on this guy, right? And this guy is a very two-faced person. Let's look at Musk. He pretends to be anti-globalists, and then he just pretends. Then he goes along with exactly the same policies. He promotes the same transhumanism as World Economic Forums, who want to connect man with machine, and we have no free will. They want to have a universal basic income. You bet you'll be connected to the mark of the beast. And he pretends to be opposing people like Mark Zuckerberg, who also want to have a universal basic income. But he says he want to have the same thing himself. And this patent with kind of the number 666 is your body connected to a technological system where your body activity data is used in the mining process of a cryptocurrency. And if your body activity data comply, you will be rewarded money. This is what I suspect if we're going to have a universal basic income. Sounds pretty horrible to me. He warns against AI, but he created OpenAI, which started the whole AI thing. So this is this two-facedness that you pretend to be this benevolent person, but horns will grow out over time. And the first thing I think about when I hear Musk is actually musk oxen, which is the last survivor of these great prehistoric animals like the mammoth from the Ice Age. But the Ice Age, it was not the cold ice age, it was a myth. It was the poles were located elsewhere. And then the poles relocated. That was the end of the so-called Ice Age. These pole shifts were so quick that they caused the Great Flood. That was some geological mechanism causing it. So the musk oxen are antediluvian creatures. And also the Nephilim are antediluvian creatures. And it seems like there are remnant of them that are still here around. Musk oxen symbolizes Nephilim to me. This is my interpretation. But anyhow, the musk oxen have two horns similar to a lamb. And I have always thought that the Tesla logo really looks like horns of a goat, right? Let's look at the verse. It says here, he spake as a dragon also. This is my interpretation. The power when he speaks, he's so influential that he buys the most important social media network in the world for himself. A few days later, he comes in his satanic upside-down cross Baphomet costume, again with the horns, and he puts that as his profile picture. That's what he uses for Twitter, that he has bought. And he renames it X, and he seems obsessed with X. Starlink has the X, SpaceX has the X. We see from scriptures that the numbers of the beast were 600, 60, and 6. And if we look in the Greek, 600 is written as an X. So the X is 600 in the Greek. That's one of the beast numbers. The Tesla models he came with were S, then X, then 3. 600, we learned that is an X in Greek. 60 looks similar to a 3. 6 is similar to an S. So Tesla models S, X, and 3, I think could equate to 660. And then he renamed himself on X to the Keckius Maximus. What is this? It's all over the news. The greatest Keckius allegedly is said to come from the Pepe the Frog, this right-wing figure like a humanoid frog-headed, but it's actually from the Egypt deity Kek. So this humanoid frog-headed had a spouse, Kauket. She was a serpent-headed woman. So before you laugh at all these people who said that there's serpent-headed humanoids, maybe, take a look at my movie Alien Agenda. Then you'd understand that the dragons and the serpents of the Bible, they're not just symbolic creatures. And we'd maybe understand why he names his space shuttle Dragon. In all the newspapers we find this thing that people just laugh off. He says he's building a cyborg dragon. You would laugh less if you watch my movie Alien Agenda, when you understand that they're trying to make hybrids. They are making hybrids with us and them. So I think, he's one of the founders of OpenAI, created AI. He was the co-chair, was the largest donor, and this is how he speaks when he speaks about AI.
Artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon. You know those stories where there's the guy with the pentagram and the holy water, and he's like, yeah, he's sure he can control the demon. Didn't work out.
And if you watch my movie Zombie Revelation, Facts and Dreams, I don't think you would laugh off what he speaks here.
Tesla supercharging stations would continue to function even in a zombie apocalypse. So, just never know. That's coming one day. We know it. It's just a matter of time.
Here's another example when he speaks like a dragon, I think. He's very unhinged, but he says here, "Thank you for the blessing, but I'm okay with going to hell, if that's indeed my destination, since the vast majority of all humans ever born will be there." And then look at this dog. It comes from this dog coin. It's associated with it's the name a little bit. He's heavily associated with this cryptocurrency. So there's always this cover story with this cryptocurrency dog meme. But I read it as a mockery of God. We know what dog symbolizes in the Bible. Thou shalt not bring the hire of a whore or the price of a dog into the house of the Lord. It's an abomination. So it's always this mockery. But the doggy, really, where it comes from, I would say, is from the Venice. This was the capital of the old world, before it was run through London and New York and those things. Doggy of Venice was the supreme leader. It comes from the Latin dux, meaning leader. It's exactly the same root and title, il duce, that Mussolini uses, the founder of fascism. Doge and il duce comes from the same word, leader, dux. So fascism comes from bundle to bundle things together. You want to create everything under one roof, and you want to have a merger of the state and the corporate world, which really is what you see here with the Doge. The world's richest man can run influence over all the government agencies.
I want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you.
So I'm not surprised that he comes from the most racist country in the world. I've been there myself. And, what does his own kid say about this salute? Just shortly after that, I'm just going to say, let's call a spade a effing spade. Especially if there were two spades done in succession based on the reaction on the first spade. And let me also mention here that Elon means oak. And I found some interesting things. You may judge it and see what you think about it. But in the Bible we find oak 14 times only. And in Isaiah is the first book. And it's about end times and judgment. And he says that the destruction of the transgressors and of the sinners shall be together. And they that forsake the Lord shall be consumed. For they shall be ashamed of the oaks which ye have desired. And ye shall be confounded for the gardens that ye have chosen. So ashamed of the oaks which ye have desired. For ye shall be as an oak whose leaf fadeth, and as a garden that has no water. So an oak whose leaves fadeth. Fading leaves of an oak, that is a dying oak tree. So this means someone who's dying. In 6:13 he talks about the end times again and about casting the leaves of an oak. But the exact same verse number, 6:13, we have in Ezekiel when it talks about end times and judgment and the remnant that shall escape in this chapter. The same verse says, "Then ye shall know that I am Lord, when their slain men shall be among their idols round about their altars, open every high hill, in all the tops of the mountains, and under every green tree, and under every thick oak, the place where they did offer sweet savor to their idols." So in the same verse number he talks about fake idols, false idols 6 times. 6 times false idols. So there's a lot of things in the numbers here that we've seen in chapter 13, and Ezekiel and Isaiah talks about oaks in the same verse number 6:13. 6 we know was one of the numbers of the beast, and 13 it was the chapter number, and it's really the verse that is, I think, talking about Elon only and not other people or beasts, is 13:13. He make fire come upon down from heaven, not on the earth. So Bill Cooper, he was a born-again Christian. He was a researcher, was a big thing in the 90s. He exposed Area 51 and a lot of things, and he predicted the 9/11 attacks. And then Alex Jones did the same thing after that. And Bill Cooper exposed Alex Jones as a liar and a fraud and deep state agent that will always be around. Nothing will make him go out of business. And it just took a couple of weeks after that. Then Bill Cooper was shot in his home by civilian police officers. And Alex Jones is still alive and well. He has got an invitation to the White House. And it's been rumored in the last months that he may be involved in being press secretary. So you have to ask yourself, why is the one of the Infowars logos the hexagons again? And these arrows, it looks like the as above so below Freemasonic thing. And then I see the pillars here, Freemasonic pillars and the temple arch in between them. You know, that's just my interpretation, but it's very clear that we have first a hexagon in the interior, right, where the letters are. That's a 6. We have a hexagon which I show in yellow here, which is the black plate. That's a 6, and then is the outward frame. That's not a hexagon. 666. So it's game over for them, right? And watch it so it's not game over for you also, my friend. So make sure you have no false idols, and remember Jesus said he's the only way, and the narrow is a narrow road that few people find, and you can't serve 2 masters. So I would like to thank you for watching, and I hope you can make something out of it, and God bless you. And I'd like to say just on a closing note 2 things. That the surgeon, Dr. Lear, he had taken implants from abductees where they found these carbon nanotubes, this graphene in abductees. I just want to mention that, another connection to graphene, if you haven't seen it in my movie Alien Agenda, where you can learn more about this. I also like to say some confirmation. I had in January 13, 2024, I think it was, a prophetic dream. There was a black Tesla car with license plate 666 backing out of a villa, and I downloaded the meaning it was the mark of the beast, and this was connected to Elon Musk. Then in the summer I was driving my car and I was thinking about all the prophetic dreams I'd had, and I made a decision to record them and share them. And as I was in the order where this Tesla dream came, and I'd actually forgotten about it, I happened to raise my head, and at this particular moment I kind of had discounted it and forgotten about it. I saw this car and I remembered it. It was a Volkswagen car with an NXP 666 license plate, and I got in my spirit, I have to look into the NXP, and then I found this company. It's one of the largest semiconductor companies sprung out of Philips. They are the ones who pioneered this RFID technology, and they're the inventors of the near field communicator NFC, digital payments, which you do with just blip of your phone or card. And I did research into central bank and digital currency. If you would have a CBDC with implantable microchip and NFC technology, the most important company that's essential to have on board is NXP. So I calculated it was about 1 in 80 million chance that I had this car in front of me at that particular moment. So that was the confirmation for me. So anyhow, praise the Lord for warning us like this, and God bless you all, and thank you for watching, and I hope you can make something out of it. Thank you. Goodbye.